All right, before we crack on to the next segment, we did roll back the tape. We had a look, and Ro quietly whispered cap.
Thank you very much. Vindication. Everyone's talking about asterisks here, asterisks there. Well done, Manu. Good,
but I did
good draw.
have a closer look. I zoomed in, and you wrote fact.
What do you mean?
So you said cap, but you wrote fact.
Mate, that's just a little bit of an error there.
Well, I'll check it in the post again, and it might change. Who knows? We'll see.
Still an asterisk.
Yeah.
Like
Not
LeBron's
asterisk,
like LeBron's Lakers chip, it's an asterisk.
Not an asterisk.
No vindication here whatsoever.
Not an asterisk. All right, let's run the segment here, we boys. Look, we put a call out on Instagram, community sport pet peeves. You guys wrote in deluxe. We've got heaps of user submissions. We've got a couple of our own, but we're just going to chat through, things that really grind our gears when it comes to community sport. That's something that we're all about here. So, Sen, I believe you've got a few to rattle off.
Yeah, I've got a couple. So my first one is people who come to sport to fight and not to actually play. And I'm going to dob someone in here, sitting in this room. Ro on Thursday, Kush. It was a semi-final.
Oh, dear.
We got to the semis, big game.
Yeah.
So it was 0-0 at halftime, very tense game. Then they scored very quickly after halftime. And then we almost, within a minute or two, equalized. It was 1-1, super tight. And then a couple of lapses of judgment from us. They scored 2 quick goals. It was 3-1 down. They were coming first, by the way. Pretty good team. And at 3-1, our heads kind of dropped, as Manu mentioned in the post-game. But everyone's head dropped except for one. There was one little terrier who
Terrier
rose to the occasion and was trying to G everyone up, including himself. And
Quote, unquote.
is what he said. And that included multiple fouls, just harassing people on the field, giving someone one of these ones, the little, you're chirping too much to someone else. A guy double his size, mind you. So Ro, in the second half of the second half, so the last quarter of the game, was just out for blood. It didn't matter whose blood. He was fighting anyone. He was yelling at the ref.
Fighting is a strong word.
And we came off, and then Mix is like, Ro, why did you lose your head? And Ro's like, I was completely in control the entire time.
I was completely in control. Look, I'll maintain this, right? Look, I didn't ask for a fight. This is completely different, but this is a good story anyway. Whatever. We're down 3-1. But when you're down 3-1, for me personally, to rise to the occasion and perform in a community sport level, I need I need some fire. Do you know what I mean? And to start some fire, you do you foul them a little bit to get them riled up.
Right.
And then I'm dulled. Then I'm locked. And we still lost 3-1. It didn't work in the end. But that is completely different to blokes. And it happens in soccer. It's usually soccer.
It's only soccer.
And maybe rugby. We don't play rugby. But from our experience, these guys in soccer, they just come out and they're not really looking to play football.
No.
They're looking to just break your legs and start a fight and, come to the car park. I'm going to smash you.
So what? They're just slide tackling deluxe, like going for the knees, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they're super aggressive. Weirdly aggressive.
It's needlessly aggressive from the offset. I remember there's I think there's it's like the Ligcom comp or something. And one of our friends played one season of it and he said it's 50% football, 50% UFC. Every week you're going out there trying not to get knocked out or submitted.
Because the thing with that, especially in futsal and six-a-side, it's really small fields. You can get away with not being good. You can get away with not being technical. The proper full field, it's so big that even if you us someone, you're not winning a game. Whereas in futsal, if you just start ussing people, that's an advantage in and of itself. So it actually works in their favor. And you get some of the fucking bro, the first game we played, I got flipped.
Yeah.
Just quietly. I sub on for Ro, and then we're already winning 4-0 at this point or something. And then he just fucking swings my legs from behind. I front flip or something.
Honestly, it should have been a red card. It was that bad.
I had a cork leg for 2 weeks. That's the level.
And then one of the other teams who we often have a rivalry with, one of their guys is massive, the biggest, he's like the Hulk. And he's not very good. And there was a ball, there was a game and it was a 50-50 ball and I got to it first. And then he swung after me. And he's like, oh, you're lucky you got there first. I was going to kill you otherwise.
Yeah, death threats on
and
the
from
field.
this guy, I took it very seriously. Anyone else said it to me, I would have laughed it off. This guy scared me.
And then in a most recent game, us three were on the bench and then something happened on the field and we laughed at him because he miskicked it or something. And he turns to me, he's like, oh, come on and I'll mark you. See what happens if you come here. And I laughed at that. Brother, it's fucking Division 3 football. You don't need to start ussing people.
I'm pretty sure it's roid rage. This guy is jacked beyond belief.
Do you reckon these people, they had a bad day at work?
It's that. It's genuinely that.
And they're just taking it out on the field and on the unlucky player like Sen.
Because when you play soccer or any sort of sport, you can it's physical, right? It's a contact sport somewhat. So you can really do stuff to people without get any sort of legal ramifications.
Like outside of the field, it's assault.
yeah, literally. You know what I mean? Like imagine someone just comes and just kicks your legs. That is assault. You're pressing charges. But on a soccer field,
You
know,
clap them.
You clap them and the ref maybe gives them a yellow as their punishment. That's what happens.
And I'm sure the terms and conditions of the community sport you signed off has waived any sort of fees that come with injuries and whatnot. So
Yeah, exactly right.
Actually, in that game where you got flipped, maybe as a revenge, I think the guy that flipped you, I think he was going for a ball and then he tried to kick it. And then one of the guys in our team came out of nowhere and swung as hard as he could and smashed the guy in the shin. And that guy, the guy who flipped Manu, was down for like 5 minutes. Like they stopped the game for 5 minutes. He was in tears. And then we asked the guy who did it, he's like, yeah, I wanted to back my boy here. So this is the kind of psychos that play football. The other one I have is, bringing ringers into sport and the whole registration process. I feel there's some sports where they take the whole rego process and, who takes to the field very seriously. And then there's other sports where it's non-existent.
So like, for example, Oztag, right?
Yeah,
They take it pretty seriously. Like you have to,
very seriously.
the only people who can play are people who are registered. And you have to, if you want to fill in, they've got to come to the front desk, pay their money. They got to put a yellow bib on. You start 2-0 down. Like it's very serious process.
Like before every game, you have to go up and sign in, like say what your name is, and then
okay. So
and
it's
then-
not like the people in Frisbee who just rocked up for us
Correct.
twice and we're like, you know what? Let's have a bit of fun.
and like it's so serious where if they check the records and the number of people who signed in versus the number of people who took to the field is incorrect, you get 0 points, which happened to us a number of times this season.
Yeah, but that was just miscounting. We didn't actually get any subs.
But then in every other sport,
Compared to Frisbee.
Frisbee, for example, where there's, as we said many times, no administration, no referees, no officiating, no any kind of semblance of community sport whatsoever. It's a free-for-all. Anyone could rock up.
So what makes this like a pet peeve for you? Is it just the fact that it's just so like exhausting, or like what is it?
Well, my issue is in those sports where it's not taken seriously, you could have people rocking up who are miles better than the level you're playing at,
Yeah.
and you're playing against them, and it's just not fair.
I don't mind it too much because I feel like, for example, soccer is a big one where you're down a couple of players. You just bring in some boys who have played soccer and that's fine. No one checks that. I actually don't have a problem with it because it kind of swings both ways. And like, other times, like other teams will do it. And it's really just like who's available in the day. I have zero kind of
Really?
issue with this. Yeah. Partly because we benefit quite greatly by getting
That
some,
is true.
some good players.
I'm a bit of a hypocrite here. It annoys me, but I know we do it. So
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
go
yeah.
any more beyond than just saying I don't like it.
We got caught doing it once.
Yeah, I know.
We have like a gun goalie, or like we used to. He actually moved to London. He was a gun goalie. He saved the goal. He saved everything, right? Except he also used to be one of those blokes who like to chirp a bit. So the other teams were very aware that our goalie's the dickhead who's super good. He was away, maybe traveling one time, and so we got another friend of ours to fill in goals, and they immediately recognized the fact that he was not the same bloke. They basically called the coordinator and was like, "Hey, these guys are playing unregistered players." I think what happened there? Our captain got banned for like 10 games.
He got a 5-game ban or something.
5 games.
Yeah, our man Glade, he was the manager of the team. This was the semi-final as well, I think, that we got banned. And as well, our keeper gave them a goal.
Hold on.
Like, it's not like we brought in a keeper that was so much better that, shifted the result more in our favor. He shifted in their favor. We had a less competent keeper.
5-game ban.
To be fair, he's a pretty good keeper.
He's
still.
good, but, our keeper's like a gun,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So then, so for the final, our manager got like a 5-game ban. He had to go to a tribunal and defend himself with the president of the club.
Actual?
Yeah.
And I don't think he served his
He didn't serve
suspension,
the suspension.
because he hasn't played in that specific competition
He just moved
since
comps,
then.
and the ban doesn't go across comp. So he's still technically banned for 4 games in that other comp.
What's that tribunal?
But that's where it annoys me.
That's so fucking funny. Well, this guy rocked up in a suit and tie.
Your Honor.
That's what annoys me. We get caught, but every other team does it. So what the fuck?
It was funny that we had a soccer game as well a few years ago where we knew for a fact the other team had ring-ins, and one guy on the sideline was like talking to our captain, "Oh, dude, let's go report them, blah, blah, blah. We got to get these guys." And our captain just looked at him and said, "We have 3 fill-ins today as well.
Yeah,
Can you
exactly.
use your brain for a second?" So yes, you're right. It does go both ways, but it's just that when the other team does bring in gun players and you just get robbed, it's very heartbreaking.
I've got one as well, and this is terrible coordinators. These coordinators are the worst because, like you said before, the backbone of everything that comes with joining a community sport is that one single coordinator. That person is making sure everyone's, registered. they've got the cones, they've got, referees, they've got the players on the field. But when you have a terrible coordinator, it becomes fucking World War II out
It's
there.
make or break sometimes.
Especially with Frisbee, one would say. Especially when a coordinator doesn't tell you that you may be in the wrong div by at least 4 levels, one would say. And so you get Dick 17-1 in the game because you didn't have that information.
That would have been nice to know before we registered potentially.
It would have been very nice to know. And other stuff where, hey, by the way, your season's ended, but I'm going to add 4 more games at the end of the season.
That's a cardinal sin for me. That's like the most basic thing, just having the fixtures up. Like, that's it. Like, just at the very least, you have to have that right.
Yeah, and look, these coordinators, they should be on top of everything, like wet weather and stuff. I shouldn't be able to go check what's the wet weather policy for a field from a local council to understand whether I'm going to be playing or not. I shouldn't be contacting the council at all.
Were you contacting the council?
Yes, because of one game, the coordinator just wasn't replying to me.
Because I think it was like that. I remember that day. He was storming.
Bucketing down.
He was bucketing down. But then I think we got an email saying the park is still open.
Yeah, what is that rubbish, man? Like, I'm not playing in that.
We have a couple of like coordinators who are a bit of stinkers. Like it's just annoying because I do empathize for them somewhat because they have to deal with like so many people messaging them and stuff like that.
That's their job. I don't empathize with them at all. Like that's the primary job of a coordinator, to coordinate the people.
So the OzTag competition we play, right? Look, the registration process is an absolute nightmare. Okay? There are online forms that you can just fill in, pay online, everything's all good.
Yeah.
This bloke expects me to go to Punch Bowl between the hours of 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. on a weekday,
Working hours.
to in person hand in my registration forms and pay on the day.
Pay in cash as well, mind you.
What?
Make of that what you will.
Right? So like, do you know what I'm saying? Like it's very easy. And then also the competition, like the fixtures and stuff like that is done on like a PDF. For example, soccer, we have like an app called Dribble or something. So you can just check. It's super easy to check.
Yeah.
Whereas this guy is sending out PDFs to me via email non-stop.
You know what I hated about that OzTag comp? The fixtures were weekly.
Yeah.
So you don't know in advance. You know, Frisbee, we got like, let's say 10 fixtures in advance.
Yeah.
You get it on like the fucking Friday.
So you have no idea who you're playing when you.
You know you're playing on Tuesday night.
Right.
But you don't know what time. You don't know
field.
who.
And he can change it. If it's Tuesday night, he can change the fixture up until Monday night or even Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
Like a couple of hours before the game, he'll put up, oh, yep, sorry, your field got changed.
So like sometimes we're just rocking up to different fields because we haven't checked the PDF.
Yeah.
The PDF. So like coordination, tough job, but there are definitely good and there are bad coordinators. I've played in a lot of comps where there are good coordinators and it makes the actual experience of a player so much better.
This is what I was going to say. Bad coordinators can just bring you down instantly, even before the season started, dude. Especially when you're being told to do a fucking quiz where you have to study for something where you can't even access the quiz and people can't sign up.
Yeah,
There
big
you
time.
go.
Maybe that's why we were bad at Frisbee. We didn't take this quiz properly.
You should have studied.
Control F was my best friend in
But
that quiz.
good coordinators are on the other side, they can be a godsend. You remember that one season minor where we played summer soccer and our friend was the coordinator and we won the comp, but we won the comp, but we weren't even registered.
Beautiful.
We literally played a whole season, a semi and a final and won the whole thing. And we didn't actually have a team.
And we got a shirt to commemorate our win.
way.
And we got away with it because our friend was the coordinator and he didn't care enough. So it can go both
So a
ways.
good coordinator to you,
Yeah.
but a terrible coordinator to the
He's
other.
a good coordinator for the people. So I've got one going off that one. The state of refereeing. So this is a classic thing in community sports. The refereeing is so inconsistent. We go from Frisbee where we have terrible coordinators and no referee ever, right? I have paid a fee to play this competition. What am I paying for? Where's a referee, especially in a fucking game, sport, where people don't really know the rules?
How much did we pay for Frisbee? Was it 100?
$100. But you know what's worse about what you're saying is because they tell you to go study the rules because the expectation is probably that this will be enforced by someone.
Yeah.
No, it's just enforced by you. That's it.
But that's why you need to learn the rules so you can enforce it yourself.
Still, bro.
So what did we pay $100 for?
Because Kush also had to
Insurance,
set up the
maybe.
field.
Yeah, true. I could have returned those coins to someone, by the way. But yeah,
Yeah, don't worry about that.
yeah. I
Kush had to
go
get to the
there.
field early and set out the cones, something which coordination should do. And he's going off. The worst one is our actual soccer, winter soccer. We pay like $400, $500
$450 this year.
for registration, and half the games, all we have is some 11-year-old assistant referee who by law is actually not allowed to referee the game.
So they only do the sideline,
Yeah,
like the
poor
linesman.
linesman. Yeah.
Because they don't have the badges or credentials or whatever. So this poor 11-year-old has gotten dropped off to the field by their parents and the referee's not there.
No, the funniest thing is like when there's no referee, you still play the game. But then it's now like some bloke has come to watch you play and he's like so happy to watch. And then it's like, actually, man, can you actually go ref? And now he's got to go like box to box trying to referee and copying abuse from the other team because he's like your referee from your side and everyone thinks he's biased and stuff like that.
It was funny a few years ago when it happened, and like we had to get often one of the guys who used to be in the team, but he did his ACL, so he was actually injured. He was doing his rehab, and he had to referee.
He's walking on crutches.
So he's like calling offside. Like,
It was so bad. Like he couldn't run or anything, so he had to walk and just like try and catch up and see what was happening.
But look, I mean, there's also like the flip side of like referees, or in cricket, what we call them umpires.
Yeah.
I still remember the good old days when you're out there to bat and your dad's on the other side, you know? You get absolutely plumb, one would say, and your dad's looking there like, nah, I think that was an inside edge. Sir, the bat is left up for a leave, but inside edge apparently.
Yeah, but on the umpires, some of them when I used to play like in men's, the umpires got paid apparently by the hour. And so some of them would want the game to go as long as possible. So you might have things where like LBW absolutely plumb and they would say, nah, not out. Because he's like, all right, I got to get to 5 to get my full pay for the day. And there's other ones where sometimes they want the game to end quickly because it's a really hot day. I remember I bowled one and the guy literally middled it into his own pad. I'm an idiot. I went up for LBW and the guy fired in. And the guy who got out, the batsman got out, just stood there and just yelled, "What the fuck, Greg?" to the umpire. And similarly, there's times when the umpires don't show up. And there was one game where I had to umpire and we were playing these guys like so obnoxious. This team was coming first and they were rolling us. Guy bowled, a guy, massive nick, caught behind. They all went up. I shook my head.
That you can't do. Okay.
Their captain came up to my face. He's like, "Is this how you want to play? Is this how you want to play?" So at the next drinks break, my captain took me off and I never umpired again after that. But I'm like, fuck that. I don't want these guys to win. They're dogs. But yeah, that's again to your point. When umpires don't show up,
Well,
chaos
anarchy.
ensues.
Yeah.
Well, one of the competitions I played for cricket, it was like a rotation. So when you had a bye, everyone in that team would get sent out to umpire different games. And like the referee who had places to be, I'm not sticking around.
Yeah.
So like any sort of half decision, I'm just firing the fingers coming up because I want to go home. And so it's no good. One of the submissions was from Sam, and he reads most of the umpires in local cricket being half blind and deaf retirees.
Yeah.
And that's just a genuine fact. These blokes who come, they're literally like geriatric 75-year-olds who have like nothing better to do with their time, who literally can't hear. Some bloke's wearing hearing aids and he's expected to catch like the faintest nick. Dude, it's silly.
One of my other favorite Greg stories, so the guy who fired the guy who inside edged it. So the rule of cricket is if it hits 40 degrees, you can't play. It's just unsafe.
Yeah.
There was a day where it was like 38, 39, but it didn't hit 40. But we're all like, Greg, come on, man. It's way too hot. We can't play. And he's like, no, boys, the rule is 40. We got to play. And remember, he gets paid by the hour. So he wanted to play. Except we played for an hour. And then he came off and sat underneath the tree, the shade of the tree, because it was too hot for him. But he still made us play regardless. So we had to umpire ourselves while Greg sat underneath the beautiful shade. And we're all like, what the fuck, Greg?
The thing with the cricket as well, the umpires, like they do the circuit around all the teams, right? And so you know them by name. So a lot of times you're like personal friends with the umpires. And so like you just see at the drinks break and before the game, just like the captain's going up to them and how was your week, Jeff? Like, you know, how are the wife and kids? Hope Maria's doing all right. Just so they can get decisions their way. Like there's proper bribery in park cricket with the umpires. Alrighty. So look, that was a long run up to the listener submissions.
A lot to get off our chest.
But Nandu says, losing a game horrendously and the dude who plays worse asks the question, let's get dinner, guys.
This similar annoys me when like, you know, you take it seriously, you have a hard game, and then there's someone on the team that doesn't take it so seriously. They walk off and they're like happy. They don't care that you lost, all this, all that. Like asking for dinner, that sort of thing. That gets on me a little.
See, it's called social sport. There is a social aspect to it. And I think that part after, you know, whether it's dinner or drinks, this person has obviously come purely for the social aspect, knowing that I want to have dinner with these peeps after. I don't think that's a bad thing. It goes both ways, I think, you know, it's social sport.
Yeah, I think it depends on the culture of the team. Like, for example, our Tuesday night OzTag group, every week we'll have dinner. Regardless, win, loss, whoever played, it's expected that we go out for dinner. I think the teams where it's like they only go to dinner sometimes and like you've had a like a loss, and some blokes played terribly, and he's all happy and chipper, like, boys, let's get some Korean food.
Yeah.
Depending on like the culture of the team, I feel like that might rub people the wrong way.
Do you think that culture is dependent on level of competitiveness? Like,
yeah, because the thing is, like, yeah, the social sport is like social, it's for fun, but some blokes will take it like pretty seriously and like want to win.
So your Oztag is chill, you reckon? Like it's really chill, not very competitive?
Like we want to win, but it's not like the be all and end all.
Yeah.
I still remember one. I forgot which grand final we lost, but it was one of the grand final losses, and it was pretty demoralizing. But we still went for dinner afterwards, and it was one of the most depressing dinners because we just sat there in silence and ate.
It was the team we were playing mixed Oz tag.
Was it the women's one?
Yeah, and we lost against an all women's team.
Cushy, I watched that final. Dude, they were up as well that game.
I think you talked about this in the
We
pod.
have,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, yeah.
And dude, the scenes right after the game when they all sat in a circle waiting for a team talk,
was-
dejected, bro. It was depressing.
It was like a funeral.
Oh,
It was silence for at least 20, 25
like, for
minutes.
example, Sen's just staring off in the distance, like just thinking about the game. Everyone's in their own little head. Far out.
That game, right? We lost. It was 3-1. We were winning. And then my brother, he scores a try and he put the ball down. This is getting filmed as well, by the way. But in Oztag, there's a rule that if you dive and your knees touch the ground first, it's not a try.
Counts as a tackle,
It counts as a tackle. And so he dives, he puts the ball down.
but they called
It a tackle. So it was a changeover. And then they scored immediately afterwards. So it was halftime, it was 3-3 or
3-3
or something like that. But then when we looked back at the tape, we run it back and we saw no knees there. So
It was clean. It should have been. We would have been 4-1 up going at
That's
halftime.
tough. Oh.
So what? They should have VAR in Division 3 mix.
No, I was just saying, but that made it worse. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
The momentum
Unjust.
swing.
unjust, yeah. It could have been a different game if it was 4 up at a halftime. But yeah, look, I think it really depends on the team itself. It does rub me the wrong way if it's like a competitive team. For example, Saturday soccer. It's not really, it's a social sport, but like we don't really like, it's more competitive. Like we want to win. And if some bloke's proposing dinner or lunch after like a tough loss and he's played like absolute nonsense, I just want to go home. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
fair
for me, like it ruins my day if I lose the game. Low-key.
Yeah, because like Saturday football's a bit more serious because like you're playing other clubs and shit. It's not like a lot of other community sports. Just within the one ground is more social. So yeah, agreed.
All right, Josh writes in, people who play with their significant others, but they're crap. You can't say anything mean, just good try.
Have you had any experiences with this, bro? Any significant others in your Oztag or football, maybe?
I'll say one thing. Look, Oztag, I will say people are not significant others and they become significant others. It's like it's like the run clubs, bro. People are dating within there. It's nuts. But with mixed sport, it's always a difficult one because mixed sport, it's much more social.
And you need the players, so significant others might be a requirement.
It is a requirement, but it is a little bit tough.
I think with that
sometimes.
sort of thing, you should go into the mindset. You're playing a mixed sport. Go, if people haven't played, go on a low div and don't go into the expectation that it'll be competitive and like you're going out to win. And you'll be much happier with your life.
But if they're not the significant other, I think it's difficult because they're your mate's partner. Like that's even more reason to like be nice. If they were just like a girl on the team, maybe you can like be a bit more coaching. But like it's low-key like hitting other people. Like, it's like disciplining other people's children. Like you can't do it. Like that's on the boyfriend to sort out his misso. All right, Natalie writes in, when it's a social sport and the rep players of the area make a team and win 45-0 each week.
Fucking Smurfs, bro. I hate this shit, man.
It's the worst.
It's like they know what skill-based matchmaking it is. They're abusing it, man. I hate it.
It happened to us on when we played Wednesday Oztag last season. There's 3 divs, and then our team got put into the first div. And then the first game, it was like a thunderstorm. And then for whatever reason, the coordinator didn't call the game off. And we're all like, there's no chance we're playing in this. So we forfeited. The second game, we played a full rep team. At halftime, it was 1-1. They beat us 12-1 in the second half.
Yeah, okay. 11 unanswered tries.
Correct.
You know what's worse with these rep teams is when they start taking the piss. When they just start having fun.
That's what- yeah,
Do you remember that one frisbee game? The team, the Manchester one. That second half, they were just throwing like random throws.
They start getting the phones out, cameras out.
Yeah.
They just start having a laugh from the bench.
Like this rep team, after like 7 or 8, they started like running plays. They were filming it. And then like they were trying stuff, and then when it didn't work, they all started having a great laugh about it. Meanwhile, we're all just fuming out there, just trying to score 1 try.
Dude, because you're literally used as a tool now. Like
You're used as training. It's a glorified
you're a
training
mannequin.
session.
You're all mannequins, man.
And like, what can you do? You You can only take the abuse, bro. That's all you can do.
I think there was a game we were playing because the thing is with these teams that who play reps, they'll play the first 3 games and they'll kind of like sandbag. So they'll be set in the division. And then once they're in the division, mate, then it's just, lambs to the slaughter. That's what we are. I remember an Oztag game we played, it was like a men's Oztag comp and these guys like sandbagged, whatever. We played them. The score was 24-0. The game was 30 minutes. They were scoring basically a try a minute. Unbelievable.
I feel like that's always a chat at the start of the season, whatever competition, like, oh, we've got these first 3 games. These are the trial games. Do we throw? Do we not? What do we do? What's the plan?
But I think there's a difference. Like, I don't know. When you're like that good a team, you really want to smurf. So yeah, you play instead of Div 1, you play Div 2. It's like some teams are Div 1 standard, but they're smurfing to like Div 6.
Yeah.
That's when it gets a bit of a laugh. Like, for example, we smurf all the time. I'm sure every single team does it.
Yeah.
But it's like, can we get dropped from Div 3 to Div 4?
Like it's one div.
It's one
usually,
div.
not 5 or 6.
'Cause I think, in Oztag, the rep players play rep or Div 1, but I think they also they'll make a Div 6 team. Like, you know what I
Correct.
mean? It's not like, they're not dropping down one.
But back to my Wednesday team. So yeah, we were 0 and 2, and then we went to the coordinator on our knees and begged him, please, sir, we're not a Div 1 team. Please move us to Div 2. So he moved us to Div 2. And in the very first week of Div 2, we won 16-0.
So you're the dirty dog.
And then we became the Smurfs. So then we went that entire season. I think we only lost 1 game from there, and we won the entire comp in Div 2. We won the final 12-1. Oh.
Jesus.
Be your own people sometimes,
So
dude.
sometimes you got to do it to them. But if we stayed in Div 1, there was no chance we were going to win. So we knew our best chance was to move down to Div 2.
But how is there such a disparity
what
between
the
Div 1
fuck?
and 2, where you're getting hammered in Div 1 and Div 2, you're pasting teams 15-0?
Honestly, if we were in Div 1, we probably would have been the second or third best team. But there was no chance we were going to beat that rep team. Like, forget about it. And even he said that. Like, he's like, just, fair enough. You're not going to beat that team.
Yeah, at least you came second or third. Like, it's competitive.
Yeah, it's not like you're getting stopped every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you get nothing for coming second or third. We wanted to get that hoodie.
But dare I suggest you're in the right division for fairness for the rest of the teams.
Dare I suggest you might enjoy the competitiveness of Div 1
Honestly,
more.
it was a bit sad some games. We literally had to throw, we would literally miss tags on purpose to let them score or purposely drop the ball and let them have it back. Hey, it doesn't matter. Hoodie's a hoodie.
All right. Juan writes in. She says, when a quarter of the team drops out at the last minute. Now, this is a quintessential part. How many times, how it works with when I coordinate the team is usually you chuck a poll up, everyone says yes or no. Maybe that happens like a day or two before the actual day of the game. On the night, suddenly it's works, too busy at work, traffic's really bad, I'm going to be 10 minutes late, not going to show up, and then suddenly you're stuck with 6 people on the field.
It's the different levels of excuses that are thrown out. The ones that I despise the most is just I can't make it. I just can't make it.
Just full stop.
It is what it is. I can't make it. And it's like, come on, man.
Got to give a reason at least.
Yeah, you've paid funds. There's a man out here trying to bring the troops together. And all you're saying is, no, sorry, can't do it. Then there are the other ones, which is like, I'm not feeling too well,
Oh, that's a classic of the genre. Yeah. Oh, just got a bit of a tummy ache, actually.
Yeah, it happens 2-3 times across the 10-12 week period. It's kind of interesting.
That's the wrong with team sports, right? You're relying on the team.
Yeah.
But I think that's why with soccer, we have only 11 take a field, but we have a squad of 20. Just purely because you're going to have 5 or 6 people every week who just, for whatever reason, don't rock up.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson in that. I helped, our mate run the Thursday comp, right? 6 aside. We have 12 people in the team, right? And our mate, shout out Harold, he was saying at the start of the season, we probably had 8 or 9, 6, 3 subs, lovely. And he's like, nah, I'm not going to organize a team if we only have 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we were a bit like, brother, 9's enough. So we end up getting 12, bit of a joke at the start, but then halfway through the season, we still needed ringers.
That was last season, though. I feel like
this season as well.
I feel like this season we had at least 10 every week.
That happens, and it always happens last minute.
Well,
every single time. People are in. The worst is when you put up a poll on Messenger or whatever, and people change their vote from yes to no, and no message.
Yeah.
That is what annoys me.
Yeah.
At least give me a bit of decorum. Say, this came up or something. Lie to me at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, say something.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. The people who just don't say anything, it's like, dude, why are you even here then?
When you have to at them in the group chat, hey, are you coming?
Yeah, bro, that's the worst,
the
man.
follow-ups, yeah.
Yeah, the person who has to follow up in the chat, bro. Oh, God. It's just,
I feel like a cuck, man.
yeah.
Herding sheep, bro.
No, but that is a problem. Like when you know that people aren't going to show up and you're going to have these issues where 5 people drop out. Yeah, like Mick said, you bring a squad of 15, but then when everyone shows up, then you're sitting here 5-minute game time. It's like, bro, Like realistically, what should happen is you just bring the people who are like committed and
Committed,
week in, week out.
Yeah.
The thing is with it's a bit difficult like on Saturdays, like with soccer and like cricket and rugby and all that sort of stuff, because people may have plans on Saturdays and the games times change. But when it's like Tuesday night, Wednesday night, it's like who like that day from 7 to 11 p.m. realistically,
What are you doing?
know, yeah, what are you doing? You know that your job is to be at Frisbee or OzTag or Summer Soccer or whatever it would be. Yeah. How are you not showing up? Sorry, this is a personal thing.
It is very personal, bro. It hurts.
All right, Triple Cheese writes in, fake injury and not getting off the field. So I think what he means by this is like when someone gets injured on the field and then instead of just like going straight off, they'll just like flail and like kind of time waste.
So this is you're 1-0 up, 2-0 up, 2 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
The cramp is coming, or I've twisted my ankle or some shit, and you don't go off.
Yeah. Like,
Wow, that's a play.
Isn't that like a quintessential part of
Oh,
like
yeah,
some
yeah, yeah,
sports?
yeah.
though?
Shithousery 101.
Shithousery, absolutely. But it's annoying. Why are you doing it in social sport? And like a regular season game, not even a final. It happened to us.
Nah, I respect it.
The game that got filmed for us where we drew with that team, I'm pretty sure it happened like towards the end where we
Yeah.
were down by 2. One of the girls, I think your brother ran into her or something, and she was on the floor for like 5 minutes. And instead of just picking her up and taking it, they're all just like watching her on the floor writhe. And I'm pretty sure if you watch like you can hear us on the sideline being like, get her off.
yeah, it's a tough one. Like, I don't know, with sports that don't have extra time, for example, OzTag.
Yeah.
Where
Yes.
like the siren goes
And
and
that's it.
It's like really frustrating because it's like just
Every second counts.
like you can writhe and get the ice pack off the field, but like you're literally just sitting there and just kicking back, and everyone's like suddenly a doctor, checking the blood pressure and stuff like that. Like kick back, man, hop off the field and do that there.
Nah, I rate it because the teams we play, and we'll be the first to do that as well.
yeah,
Let's not joke around here. How many times in football I just smack the ball away?
Oh, that's fun.
It's
though.
still in play, and I kick it into the bushes.
Well, that's what was happening on Thursday night.
And that's why I wasn't mad when the other team was doing it to us on Thursday in a crucial moment, because I've done it all season.
Yeah.
I can't now be mad it's working against us.
But I think that I find fine. I think it's the injuries that I find like a little bit annoying. I don't mind doing the nonsense, like kicking it out as far as you can. As soon as you touch the ball, smack it. But it's like when you're on the floor and like, take a moment to like, obviously you can't get up. But then surely your team just picks you up and, hops you off the
But it's
field.
one of those, like the severity of the injury, dude. They could be like, I can't move, that sort of
And you
thing.
never know. It might just be someone who wants to kickstart the acting career.
And if it was us, we'd do the exact same. I'm pretty sure it happened in soccer last year where one of the guys went down and then one of the boys went over to check on him and it looked like he was like trying to like, like, are you okay? But really, apparently he went over and the guy's like, are you okay? He's like, yeah. And then like he was about to get up and he pushed him back down.
Stay down.
Said, stay down.
No, my favorite was like the guy in our team. Apparently, a couple seasons ago, apparently he got like I think maybe like a ball to the chest or something.
Yeah.
And then he goes down. He's full of I can't breathe, whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then it got to the point where the other manager was about to call the ambulance. Like he was down for that long, and he was like that good of an actor. But then at that point, he started to get up and be like,
To be fair, that was in a final as well, like
That's
a grand
funny,
final. Oh yeah, they were about to call the ambulance. So he decided, all right, I'm good.
Triple Cheese is a big culprit of this. Sometimes like when like girls especially will be injured, mate, he'll come up and scoop them to the sideline.
Absolute hero he
Yeah,
is.
little white knight over there.
Fucking hell. He stopped doing it because in one season he did 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
We called him out and he's never done it since, but he was a massive culprit of that.
All right. Final one for today. Kristen, she writes in, when people take it way too seriously, especially in a drinking social league.
I feel like we're maybe culprits of this.
Yeah, I'll put my hand up. I'll take it seriously.
We were talking about this the other night. Are we sore losers?
Yeah, we're all losers.
But that's fine though. Like people have enjoyment with the seriousness, how serious you take it, how competitive you get. Like some people have enjoyment from that, comparative to just the social aspect.
But then if everyone else is like taking it chill and taking it easy, then you look like a psycho.
Yeah, the problem is when there's a disconnect in the team.
Yeah.
That some people take it seriously and some people don't take it seriously. That's where it's a problem. Like if you lose, let's train on the weekend. No one else is in the team's vibing it. It's a bit off.
Yeah, I feel like mixed sport, I feel like you have to be hands free. You got to take it easy.
You have to accept what comes, really.
Really, because like it's hard to get numbers and stuff. Like fair enough, but if you're playing soccer or maybe like six-a-side, where everyone is like competitive, then I think it's fair enough. Like frisbee, right? I think there was a bit of disconnect there potentially.
Yeah.
Like I think some people want to take it very seriously, but others were just like happy to just have a runabout in the field.
Just a bit of cardio on a Monday night.
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard a lot of OzTag teams, they train a lot, but they play like Div 5 or something.
Well, that's
Like,
why
I've heard, but when I played OzTag, I rocked up 5 minutes before the game. Oh, I had to chuck on tags because like half the team wasn't there anyways. So imagine that you come against a team that trains twice a week and we have no numbers.
Bro, training for social sport is
Yeah.
what? So you're playing like Thursday night, but they're also training Sunday and Tuesday, you saying?
Yeah, at like fucking 8 a.m. out in Whoop Whoop.
is it that far fetched? Like for Saturday soccer, for example, we'll train on Wednesday.
Yeah, but
Like
like
still social sport at the end of the day. Like it's a comp, but it's still
Yeah, but
we're not
these
professionals or anything.
It's more serious. Saturday soccer, for example.
But this is their
No,
Saturday
but I think
soccer.
the funny part is something like OzTag. If it was like Div 4 or 5, there was a team out there taking it full seriously, training it, and you know they get absolutely stomped. I'd be laughing at that.
Okay, yes, that is funny. But this is like for those people, this is their Saturday soccer, right? Like Oztag, they might play multiple teams, they might want to play reps or whatever, so they train. I don't think it's that far fetched.
I think there's two types of people. There's like the other team who takes it too seriously, and there are blokes on your team who take it too seriously. Those people are the worst. Like people who you want to kick back, for example, Tuesday Oztag, it's a mixed Oztag, and really it's just playing with your mates and playing with your friends you haven't seen for a while. But there's people who have come in and really tried to be like, guys, we have to push forward. We got to try and win the comp. Let's train. Let's do this. Let's come half an hour early. It's like, brother, relax. Like, please, I'm just here for the meal realistically after the Oztag.
You know, a bit of cardio and then the chat after. Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean? And then like the other team who takes it really seriously, like that, you can't really control other people.
No.
It's like annoying because it's like, just relax. Like, why do you have to be so on edge? They're like spraying the refs who are like volunteers or getting paid like $10 a game.
Yeah.
They're like getting angry about that.
Well,
It's a bit jarring. Sorry. It's a bit jarring in like, for example, when it's the other team. I've played games where the guys are berating the chicks on the team.
Yeah, dude,
Like
that's-
absolutely
Yeah.
spraying them. And you can tell the chicks are there because their friends are on the team or they wanted to give it a go.
It's uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable because these guys are probably the rep players that have run the training and tried to drill in, we'll do this play, we'll do that play. It's so jarring.
Well, yeah. Do you remember that when we were getting absolutely stomped in frisbee?
which time.
Yeah, you really got to specify which one.
Or like those really good teams that were reversing, and like it's 10-1 or something, and then we look at the other side and we're just standing waiting for them to throw the disc, and they're talking strategies.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you do not need to be talking strategies
Against us, against our team. Like really anything will work against us.
Yeah, that is as well. That gets so annoying. Like, there's no need to take it this seriously. Come on, man.
Would you say we take sports seriously?
I think we take it seriously at the right moments. When you're playing mixed social sport, that is just a bit of fun. Like for everyone involved, everyone's just there to play with their friends. Like I can't play with my mate Renuli any other sport except for Tuesday Oztag. So we'll play that, have a good time. But we're playing six-a-side or soccer when we actually train for it, and everyone else in the comp is taking it seriously. That's like totally fine. Thoughts?
Yeah, that's why I think I can't play like, it would be very hard for me to play like mixed soccer. That's a sport I take really seriously. And I know I'll be super competitive, and I feel like if you play that sort of thing or really low division sort of football, I feel like I couldn't do it because I'll be the guy that takes it a bit too seriously. You got to know your time and place there, I suggest.
Wowee. All right, a lot to get off the chest, I feel like, this episode. But thank you very much for everyone who sent in. Look, follow us on Instagram, Critical Banter. We post stories all the time, asking for submissions. We really value it. So, give us a follow and check it out there.